Alright guys, it's finally happening. I finally I finally done put the effort in to do a daggone park tour. Welcome to Planet Coaster 2. It's your boy Tails Coasters. And today we are doing our first ever tour of something that took me a while to create. This is my second build on Planet Coaster 2 before I show y'all too much. I can't show y'all too much. Let me start at the basics. So, I like roller coasters. This whole entire channel is based off the fact that this wonderful game, Planet Coaster 2, has given this casual the ability to make the dream parts of my dreams. I grew up playing Roller Coaster Tycoon. I wish I had a computer strong enough to use no limits. I grew up in Ohio, so plenty of theme parks and plenty of experiences on roller coasters. So I've always been enamored with them. I worked in a theme park for a while. I just really always wanted a game that would give me the ability to really make something that felt true to life. And this game has been honestly a breath of fresh air because when it first dropped, I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't purchase it. I was on Planet Coaster one for I think I just checked my final play count on there like 33 days or something like that. I played the absolute crap out of that game. I have a bunch of really cool worlds on there that I'd love to show you guys if you would stick around for the channel. I'll do some retro world tours. I can show you guys where all of my platform for this building stuff that I do came from, because this isn't something I just picked up and got good at. This is one of those games where you really got to play it a lot. I first started playing and when it first came out on my PlayStation, was crap on that. Played it on PC for a little bit and then just kind of didn't feel like learning the PC controls again. Once you go from using mouse and keyboard, which I did when I was like 11, to just strictly console, going back to mouse and keyboard, it either is good or it isn't. It wasn't good for me. So when I finally got a Xbox Series S, I was like, you know what? Excuse me. When I finally got an Xbox Series S, I was like, you know what? Let's just go ahead and see what this game has to offer. And it's been a very, very pleasant experience for me, at least. So hopefully, this whole entire thing gives you a good representation of what this game has to offer on the console, because I don't know if I speak for the majority here, but I don't feel like building a PC just to play the game every now and then. Like, we all have busy lives, we all got stuff to do, and we only can pick one or two games that we're gonna play. And for me, it's Planet Coaster. I don't know, man. Simple. I understand how to use a controller, even though it's finicky as hell on this game. And using a mouse and keyboard, even on console, sometimes makes it a lot easier. Little pro tip. But all that being said, also, for those who are wondering, I just said that mouse and keyboard tip. Funnily enough, I literally could not get my HUD, the HUD. I couldn't get it to be removed using a keyboard shortcut, because I found out through the process of trial and elimination that my right shift is broke. And you can't do the keyboard, you can't like rebind it on here, and you can't do it without having the right shift. And it was the most aggravating process, because I just thought, I was like, I've been using this this whole time, what do you mean I can't remove the HUD? But graciously, this game has a beautiful feature where we can go in the first person, just to show you guys whoever has played this game before on console. This alone, you PC players do not understand. You do not understand. As I go to find the path, as I find this path, I will show you guys what we're working with here. Welcome to my first Planet Coaster 2 part. Let's experience together the way this game meant to be experienced, in first person. This, by far, is the best addition to this game. I cannot tell you how many times, fiddling with the free camera with a controller, I couldn't get the best views of what I wanted to see. But now we got a clear, crisp HD, man. This is a sight to see. So, to explain a little bit of my inspiration, as I gave you that spiel earlier, I love roller coasters, and one of my favorite theme parks I've ever been to is Dollywood. Dollywood was laid out and set up in the nook and crest of the forest so beautifully. So the initial parking lot setup I did was coming through this tunnel. If you guys ever been to Dollywood, then you know the parking lot just there's two. There's one that's right there, and then there's the big ass parking lot that you got to drive all the way through. Probably taking a bus or a tram if you can't get the parking up by the lot by the park, which most days in the summertime you couldn't, I guess. But yeah, I never had a theme park where you had to take a tram from where you parked at, like in the Midwest, I guess. Like that's more of a Disneyland or a big resort type thing to me. Like it was just the coolest little concept to me, especially with the way it was set up in the woods. So you come up through the road, trams bring you up through here. You go through the gate. Not gonna lie, I need to do a better job of remembering names, but this is a gate I got on the Frontier Workshop. Frontier Workshop, especially with the new ability to scale things up and down, it has really made it so that you can get these really realistic builds now, and this is a 100% like to me accurate little mini gate. I've used it for this park and then the other park that I built too. I'm probably going to go through the process of probably making my own gates from here on out and just experimenting with the game a little bit more. But for sure, when you first start building parks, especially on this game in particular, I recommend using builds, going off of builds, maybe building off of those at first, making little small changes so you can learn the mechanics. For example, I had no idea until I did this how editable the signs are, but this stop sign isn't even a stop sign. So it's like if you already have the creativity from Planet Coaster 1, you'll definitely understand probably on a more intrinsic level. Like I know a lot of people who maybe want to get into this game, just hop on a second game and have no experience, and I think this game kind of operates a bit off of the preconceived notion. Okay, you should know how to work Planet Coaster. There's so many little things that they change, like the way that menus work, and for example, pressing X and up brings up the heat maps, and I'm pretty sure X and up was like something to do with the time on Planet Coaster 1 on console. So it's just little stuff like that, but overall, it's truly like one of those sequels that is built for somebody who loved the first one. So this entrance is a testament to all that. Just being able to even do something like this, not an exit, emergency lane only. I absolutely love it. This is the, of course, employee parking lot. Very small because, in theory, behind that tunnel, there's even more parking. This is the exit lane for the buses and anybody who parks up here. I do not have any cars in the lot because currently they don't have any car models in this game, and those things take up a lot of assets. And on console, you got to get it where you fit in. They have real buses for the the spawn locations now, which is a completely new thing. Spawn locations used to be a horrendous mess to deal with, but now spawn locations are actually seamless. So you place these buses. You can place a spawn location, if I'm not mistaken, anywhere. Like they have a little tile object that you can set down and set a spawn location. So you have way more customization of the layout of the land. And with that in mind, I took my Dollywood experience and created Woods Pike. Woods Pike. Good Woods Pike. Woods Pike, in my head canon, of course, is built by some guy who had a lot of money, who wanted to build a little roller coaster in the backwoods of Tennessee. I have no idea who it is. I don't know if he's a cool guy, if he's a mean guy, but he's a country guy. That's all I know. When you leave, then make sure you come back, Good old Americana. Right here, we have a decently built train station. I say semi because I don't know. I don't know. I'm not fully confident. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think I could have did this better in a lot of ways, but I love the clock. That was another Frontier Workshop edition that I found, a accurate clock with one of the new features, customizable animatronics. So you can essentially make any object into an animatronic with these cool new blocks that they added, and I took advantage. Have this big rent station clock. It's very nice, and if you go inside of here, this is, to me, the best you can do on console, man. Console is very particular. It's not like you can just, constantly level up and keep going and keep ascending with the amount of stuff you want to put in the world. Like, you have a very finite amount of space and amount of stuff you're able to place. So you kind of have to figure out ways to make what I like to call video game realism. You can do a lot more photorealistic stuff in this game because, as you can see, just off of this Xbox Series S, the lighting is tremendous. And just off the lighting alone, if you don't look at the cartoony, goofy looking character models, this game looks like you just captured a screenshot of somewhere that could actually be an image, a real picture. But on consoles, some of those smaller details, you just don't really have the space for. So this, to me, is just a central entryway to this one attraction. Nothing too major. Got a bathroom over here. You got the station over here. You got the nice queue. And the train takes you all around the park. But we'll say that for the end, because it's very monotonous, very slow, very simple. But I just wanted to show it off because that was the first thing that came to mind when I wanted to build this. But coming out of here, you know what? Let's see. I don't know what direction I want to start next, so I'm gonna flip something. Backside. Alright. Okay. We're going to the front side. I literally just flipped some little metal thing I had, and if it landed on one side or other, that was my head or tails. Real hard dent. So we have all of these roller coasters listed from closest to furthest on this nice little wood post here because we in the country. So we got Hot Rod's Garage is closest to the right, American Steel, and then we have the upper level. And then to the left, over there, we have the Cub. The last addition to this part that I did, Wave Runner. Oh. Is this still Wave Runner? Did I ever change the name? You know, in my head, I might have changed the name, but I'm gonna assume that I kept it as Wave Runner. So we shall see. You see, this is what happens when you build a lot of stuff for Planet Coaster 2. You don't remember everything. And then, after Wave Runner, you have Purple Skyline. And then above that is the upper level. But I just want to keep it all looking nice and even. So, we're going to go to the front side. As per my weird metal head or tail coin flip. Alright, so we got a big wheel, nothing special. I'm not riding these flat rides. I'm not that guy. We have a nice kickflip inside of this picnic area. No, I'm black. We shouldn't really call it picnic. You guys go look that up on your own. I don't know why it should be in that subtext on this video. You know, I don't really want to give you a history lesson, but you know, this is a casual sitting area. We're gonna call it that. I can't. Okay, wait. You know, yeah. I'm about to say I can sit, but I can't sit. There we go. You know, just chilling, maxing, relaxing, all cool. Do some b-ball outside of school, all that. You know, it's real cool. Got a gelato bros in here. Please bring back Cosmic Cow ice cream. Please bring back Cosmic Cow ice cream. Please bring back Cosmic Cow ice cream. That is all. That is it. That's the message. Anyway, nice space to go to the restroom. Another, what's this, pipe shot. Just real simple, but it's just really primarily the shelter area for if it starts raining or something like that. I don't have the weather physics turned on right now because it kind of messes with the population, and I like seeing the park with the people in it. I like that the game performs well enough that you can actually have the park open and still ride the rides, because before that was not necessarily a thing. So yeah, nice shelter area, good, like I said, rest area, kick the feet up. Over here we have the first of the roller coasters I built. In the first of the roller coaster we will be riding Hot Rod Garage. This is a mimic of a storefront of a restaurant that I may or may not go to every now and then. I'm not going to say copyright infringement on the design, but copyright infringement on the design. It is an old garage that has a hot rod style ride that rips and runs through and there's an RMC track. Does that remind you of anything in Dollywood? Anything at all? No. You got this gas station right here with some classic old Mobiles and Buicks and nicest looking vehicles. This is why we didn't place the cars, people. This is what you have to do to make a car in this game right now. I'm not saying absolutely ridiculous, but I mean we couldn't do better. We could do better. A lot of assets. I don't want to tell you how you even make the base for one of these. I don't know how the guys who came up with this on the Frontier Workshop did, but salute to them. This ride in this game, I don't know why, but look at this. I think there's something wrong with the line logic a little bit, because these guys do not ride roller coasters in the way that they did on Planet Coaster 1. They will ride these flat rides to death. Don't get me started on the water parks. My next park has a water park. They will ride a water slide to death, but they will not get on some of those roller coasters. It's a little imbalance, but you know they got time to fix that. This is what I'm call this the Rocky Road Eats, of course. So the restaurant, the way they have restaurants set up in this game, you set up the restaurant, you connect the tables physically, so restaurants are no longer just weird queues that they enter and exit from. They're actually walkable venues that you're able to make. And this one I took full advantage of. The glass up here, customizable. Like I said, the size differences that you can do, the shrinking and all that, it just made this so much fun to build. And you would never be able to do a Skyline like this in the first game and be able to have the volume to it. To me, is the cool part, because being able to, from different angles, see the roof peak like that, and it's all glass, it just looks cool visually. More realistic, sim realistic, video game realistic, as I said. So all those tables in there are connected. Sorry about my voice. All those tables in there are connected to there, and then these tables are also connected to the restaurant. Another restroom, because you need restrooms with these guests, good lord. I don't play with most of the stuff on, but I do like to have the guest experience stuff on to some degree, because I want to place my food and all that in a way that makes sense. Now, I know a lot of people have different ways of doing food stalls. For me, it depends on the kind of park I'm building. So if I'm making a really, really densely realistic park, I'll just make the park as small as I can, and then I'll go and theme the small little shots. But for something like this, it's just going to be like it would be if you were going to a little normal American theme park. It's just going to be connected to the rest of the scenery, and that's just going to kind of be what it is. The lack of signage, I could probably have done better on in this park, but I'm not going to sit here and keep adding on something when I want to do something else. So, you know, kind of is what it is. If you can see, this building was built kind of dankily, because Lord knows why, but it just, the clipping does not make sense with this one sometimes. I don't know. But I digress. All that to say, we're about to go enjoy our first ride. Now, these RMC ones, these are always fun. These are always cool. But now that I am in the point of roller coaster building where I understand a little bit more about how roller coasters actually work and operate, and how layouts are supposed to work and operate, I tried my hardest to make these as close to something that you could probably ride in real life as possible. So, Hot Rod's Garage, guys. I hope you enjoy. We're going to watch this one from the POV of the people. Whip and wind into the last block break. You come flying around the corner, you hit the brakes, and then you exit the ride. As you see to your left, on all these stations, you will notice the stations are properly covered for the station attendants. One of my biggest pet peeves in all these roller coaster games is that these guys don't have an actual control room when you build these stations. Like, that should almost be like almost should be guaranteed. But this was horsepower. I think I called it the wrong name at first, and I will not go back and re-edit it. So this ride is called horsepower. It sits in a hot rod garage down here in the lower section of Woods Pike. Now, as we go up the hills and through the forest, if you've ever been to Dollywood, you know there's this particular part of the park where you go up an incline, and it's so Americana. It's so genuinely old school, rustic. You can just feel the vibes. So here, when we got on this landing platform, I wanted it to be the same. We have American Steel up here. American Steel is one of those old, just rickety steel roller coasters from the 80s. Sorry, my manufacturer slipped me every now and then, so you guys are gonna have to bear with me because I know exactly who manufacturer it is, and I'm not gonna say the wrong name. So I'm not gonna be one of those people that pretend to know everything. I do know that these roller coasters were manufactured a lot in the 80s. Great example of one of these models would be something like the Vortex. Would be a looping version of this in Kings Island. If you guys ever rode that old hunk of junk before it got demolished, that thing was shaky as hell, as I imagine this is. But since it is one of my few rides that has really low intensity with nice moment of airtime in the middle, I'm pretty sure this is one of the more favorite rides. I am sorry, before I get on this though, I do have to do something that's wholly important. I have to hop out of first person mode. This is important. When we ride these rides, after we're done, I am supposed to press the primary button of all buttons. I'm supposed to go to the stats. So now that we have rode this ride, I am sorry for having to loop back, but I'm gonna keep this in because this is real, guys. This ride lasts a minute and 23 seconds. You see how quick I did math right there? This ride lasts a minute and 23 seconds. It is almost 4,000 feet long. You go up 60 miles an hour. Average only at 32.5. So I think that it paces itself really well. And I like this brake run right here because it slows it down and makes the ride pace a lot better in the bottom end. Before I added that run, it was rough. Let's see. 1 moment of airtime, 3 inversions, only 0.63 seconds of airtime. Wasn't a lot, but it was enough. This ride isn't about airtime though. It's totally about just getting through it fast and going through inversions and whipping and running through the mountainous terrain. So now that I remember to do that, back to the scheduled programming. Okay. So over here in this same plaza, we got this little spinny doohickey that I would probably never ride in real life, but people love these things for some reason, and it sits in a cave, so it's cool. What else do I say? Alright, so now it is time to finally get on American Steel and go through the queue that is already packed. This great view of the platform for the train, this big log that, in my headcanon, it was a big tree that we cut down and built this thing. We just left the log right here because it was too big to cut, and we used it as the main support for the bridge. Bada bing, bada boom. Clears that one right up. So once again, video game realism. We can't place a lot, but we can place what we place. This thing looks nice, and it gives you the feel that you are going to an old American warehouse. What do old American warehouses have? They got boxes. They got lots of them. And a big ass American flag to let you know where you are. Alright, this is American Steel. This will be fast and this will be quick, but you will enjoy. when we whip back up into the last brake run up the hill. The physics behind getting that thing up the hill made me rebuild this thing 5 times. This was by far the hardest one I had to build in the park. I have no qualms with saying that. This was a task. I don't know why I thought it would be easy. Hold on, let me get out of this camera so I can go show you guys the stats. I don't know why I thought this would be easy to just be like, yeah, I could just, you know, build on up American Steel like that. You know, this was not easy, guys. Straight up and down, starting on this hill, and then not really wanting it to be a very intimidating ride at all by like just the look or anything. I wanted it to feel as inviting as it rides. So hill's very short, the drop is bigger than the hill, but the physics of getting it from here to there, that was a very hard task. And to show you and prove that I'm not lying about really trying to improve the track profile, all of this used to go all the way around here, and it just was so slow and monotonous. It was not one of those things that people would want to ride. And it made me go to work up here, and because I didn't want to change where I had set the location of the coaster, and then I made something that worked, and it flows well. And this airtime hill right here, legitimately, I could see your ass falling out. This one's pretty steep. So the stats tell the true story. Yeah, now this is not close to being all green. We are not working with one of those. But what we are working with is something mighty special. As you can see, my eyes don't work all that well. I'm on TV, bear with me. This last less than 60 seconds, just under 2,000 feet, max speed of 50 miles an hour, you're averaging 25. The biggest drop is 77 feet. Like I said, it's not a very big ride. G-forces aren't all that intense, but it's that fact that you get 3 full airtime moments and a full second of airtime on something that small. It's absolutely crazy to me. So now that we have written that, I am not going to go back in first person because I don't feel like it, and I don't have to. We are going to go up the hill, through the mountains, through the woods. I want to show you guys this little thing I did right here. I added logs to make it look like it was supporting the weight of the hill, because I couldn't really get the hill to look any better, really. And I didn't want to have to add rocks because I personal pet peeve. In this game, the way they have rocks set up now, I kind of hate placing them. So it's just like, it's sometimes it's easier to just use the texture and then just use other things to imitate the feeling of rocks being there. And that was one of those times I did that. So this is a little tip if you guys ever get stuck on the way something like that looks. So another example of being annoyed with something like simple, like I can't get this railing undone without clearing the rest of these railings. It's really something that's real simple, but at the end of the day, it's a pain in the ass. Because no matter what I've tried to figure out, for whatever reason, and in particular, this junction just does not want to fix itself. And anytime I try to have it fix itself, this then becomes a barrier that people want to walk through. That's just a planet culture thing, though. So I'm one of those people who am like a nut job to the point I want these simulated things to go where I want them to go. Now, I know most people look way past that because it's easier that way, but I like doing things the hard way. So, that being said, we are up at the upper levels, and the upper levels have a different vibe. Off rip, you get off the train, welcome to the second train station. It's the only other train station. The train station takes you from the bottom to the top, so all the handy, capable people can get around the park just as easy as everybody else. We got a concert stage, nobody performing, but we got a concert stage, and this right here, it would be a beautiful area to just have everybody sit, and you could have one of those like kid concert show things constantly showing, have a whole entire little troop of parents out here. Beautiful thing, beautiful thing. We have the overpower power ride, and this fits in with the theme of this area over here, which is clearly by the name of this ride alone, inspired by some of the areas of Cedar Fair parks where you are under government espionage. So we have Whiplash 2.0, which is an experimental roller coaster, and then I cannot talk. And then Outer Limits, which is another experimental roller coaster that is best ridden at night because it's a dark ride, and it is definitely modeled after the Flight of Fear. I have no change in my game. So Overpower fits in with this theme over here, which is government interest inside of the woods. If you live in America, you understand that's just something we do. That's the theme. Government interest in the woods. But before we go over there, I want to show you guys this. First off, the butterflies. I love this ride. I would actually want to ride this right now. I don't know what about this just interests me, but it seems gentle and fun and just like, yeah. But anyway, that's not what I want to show you. This is what I want to show you. Number one, the fact that I can label this as staff without having to put up a sign and put it in the wall. Editable text is one of the best things they added to this game. On top of that was this beautiful thing right here. This is a staff path. Now, I don't really have the staff taking breaks because making a work roster is actual work, and yeah, after experimentation, I'm not going to be doing that. But I will have the pass for them just the same because the visual of it and being somebody who worked in the theme park, the way that they would hide the team members, like if you were working for the park, they wanted it to be an illusion of where you go. Like they didn't want it to be some very obvious. This is especially in Cedar Fair parks. This is where the staff go. This is like it's not very obvious. It's really well hidden, and a lot of the times it'll be as simple as having the path that goes behind a roller coaster, like this path does here. That leads to a building, like this path does, that you could see from the outside. But to you, it just looks like it's part of the park, but it's actually really, truly a part of the park. It's a staff path. It's a staff building. Housing all the staff. So the staff path thing is just something that's really cool. And on this upper level, I added several staff paths so that they have easier access to the staff rooms, because we'll get there. On the lower level, there is a staff, like a whole entire staff floor that is all for people on the lower level, and I want the upper level people to have that easy access. So this is another staff path that runs behind the roller coaster, and this is like exactly what I'm talking about. This is the exact kind of passage like I'm talking about, like something with the fences would probably be higher, but it'd be just like this. The roller coaster would be, you'd be able to see the inner workings of how these roller coasters work just by going to your break room, you know. It's pretty cool like that sometimes. So having the ability to do that in game, I love, but I've been talking too much. Anyway, this is the hut. This connects to the exit for Whiplash, and that's something that I've been working on and just trying different ways of doing in my parks, is having the exits connect to different things, because in a lot of theme parks, exits for roller coasters lead directly into other attractions to make you kind of continually, you know, spend money. Consumerism. All that being said, this is a queue. We are about to get on the line. We are in the line. We are about to get on the ride, Whiplash 2.0. Why is there a 2.0? Because this originally was a launch roller coaster that it did not pan out because it just wasn't a really fun one. This is a lot better. All right, I'm doing this like I'm in first person still. Okay, I got lucky. I was hoping that this was the right car. I gotta give it to myself. That's one of the coolest things I've designed. Wow, that was fun. Okay. See, if you have the controller in your hand, you feel the vibrations, and you're just right there, it really feels like you're on that thing sometimes. Pause. Wow, that sounded crazy. Anyway, this was really hard to design because I had never designed anything with these spinning model cars, and this is a new thing to this game. This is a new model. I cannot remember if this is an Intamin thing or not. I kind of have a feeling that Intamin might be behind this. They generally are behind most launching things, but the spinning cars are what made this so hard to design. Like the spin can be controlled on each individual track. Like each track, even if it's a standard track, you can place the spin effects like halt the spin, let it spin here, free spin. So figuring out where I wanted to spin at, where it wasn't giving the most G-forces off, because before I had it spinning a lot more and it was not a pleasant experience for the visual or for the actual like simulated riders. So being able to figure out how to get all that in sync, as you see, like you go through these corkscrews without spinning, and it feels like when you go into that spin out of it, it feels a lot more natural. Stop the spin coming up here, so he's going down this hill, feels like you get that really good moment of airtime, but it's still gentle. So all that being said, let's look at the stats, because this is an all green, 100% top tier, top of the line king. Lasts a full minute, about 3,500 feet length track, got 66 miles per hour, averaging about 40. Biggest drop only 82 feet, so it's fun for the kids and the family too. Hey, this is one of those things that would be a kid's first big roller coaster, and that's exactly what it's designed to be. This whole entire area is supposed to be a place that kids are supposed to actually love coming. We got 2 inversions, 4 moments of airtime, only 2.8 seconds, but those 2.8 seconds feel marvelous, and most of it happens right here. And yeah, that's the overall overview of Whiplash 2.0. I'm pretty sure this is like, let me see, third to last. Like, this is something that took me a while to come up with the concept, what I wanted to put right here and what I wanted this all to be. So having this all come together, and then the design of the station, if you were wondering, I wanted it to look like a fin, like there was something like cool happening over here, and I just wanted this to look like a fin. Like it was like housing some cool, fast thing. And that's pretty much what I was going for. So over here, we got the outer limits. And before we ride outer limits, it is only right that I change the time. We have to go to the pitch black dock. Before we go inside of there, I will help you guys out. Before you even ask me, I'm gonna go do this simple thing. This is what all of these rides that you already rode look like at night. I am not going to be doing night rides for all of these. It's just really not worth it, honestly. But I wanted to show you guys what all these look like. I like the fact that these white wall wheels are actually lights. It's really cool. But yeah, the lighting is really immensely better in this game. It's not nearly as dark in areas where there's not directly light, so it's a lot easier to place this ambient lighting. Because if you've ever been in an amusement park at night, it really is like actually dark. It's not the most well lit thing ever. It's not supposed to be super bright in like 4D. Like this whole area right here being this dark, there probably would be a centerpiece right here, but I honestly couldn't think of a good enough centerpiece to go right here that I felt would be worth messing with the feng shui of everything. So yeah, but this is what this looks like at night, and we have not wrote this yet, but I will show you why we are here. Right here on the Cub, we have the Woods Pike logo that you will see as you were coming in on the bus. Same logo that you got right there. But yeah, this is what everything looks like at night. The lake looks all red, white, and blue and patriotic at night, which I absolutely love. It looks really cool. And then sitting over here and being able to see it, this one of the coolest views, one of the coolest things about this game is the lighting. We'll stand on that. Here we are in American Steel, nice and bright, like the lighting of the indoor compared to the outdoor, and having that actual gradual switch between the hues and all that, and the tones, and how deep and bright it is and dark it is in certain areas, and light not bleeding through the corners. Just absolutely tremendous job, because I know that part of the game, the light effects are really hard to get down in code at the end of the day. It is some tedious stuff, and they really figured out something innovative. It kind of feels like it's on the same level of when Frontier figured out water on Roller Coaster Tycoon 3. I don't know if anybody remembers that. I remember that. The water on Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 was the most realistic looking water I've ever seen in a video game. So, hats off. These dudes are doing everything that they, I'm sure when they originally started making roller coaster simulation games, this is probably in their head what they really wanted. So, we are going to go into first person for this one. This would probably be the best. I do not know why I don't remember how to open things. I'm 33 days on Planet Coaster 1 will make you forget how to do simple stuff like open these, man. Alright, guys. So, we are in first person. And it's time we get on the Outer Limits. Indoor space. Now, the reason we are going through this queue like this is because this queue was designed to be walked. We have alien space technology. Have computers. What is this thing? I don't know. Got cages. They're hiding something. And this is wonderful. It's not a training station, so you can sit here and wonder, just like you will wonder if you're riding this in real life. Why would they put a big station blocker right in front of it? I did not plan on this when I had originally built this, and that is kind of in the way. I love it. Anyway, we have the Outer Limits. There's a nice station block for the lovely attendant. Got alien eggs getting scanned in. Shout out to the new animatronics. Really one of the coolest things that they've added. As we wait, we'll wait on it. Rolled into the final block section break run. That was holy crap. And as we exit, will you notice something? For those who have played Planet Coaster 1, this is a separate exit station. Frontier remembered that they had this program, the Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, and they finally brought it back for Roller Coaster. I'm just kidding. Planet Coaster 2 finally brings back from Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 the much demanded separate platforms. Now, only thing we need is switch tracks for like all the roller coasters, and we will be peachy and hunky dory. But being able to do this is why I wanted to make this ride, because in real life, the Flight and Fear, when you ride the ride, one of the initial gimmicks was you ride it, and then you would see people come on, and then as soon as that car would leave the station, another car would roll in, and it would be completely empty. So it would be like, oh, they just disappeared. And that gimmick always stuck with me. So being able to make this refueling station, and then having the gimmick of, oh, you launch straight out of the station. People just hear nothing but you screaming, and then the cars come back in empty. Absolutely love that concept from a storytelling aspect of that roller coaster. So being able to do it in this game now, and being able to properly do dark rides in the first place, because this is something that like impresses me. Now during the daytime, just because the way sunlight works in games, it will bleed a little bit. You'll be able to see a bit more of the track. I will give you a great example. I'll go in right now into the heart of it. You guys are seeing stuff you're not supposed to see. Alright. So, the weirdest thing I noticed while I was building this. When you first initially pop in, right? The sunlight bleeds in. You see everything. The moment you let it settle in and let that camera settle in, it gets pitch black. That was not something that was available in the last Platinum Coaster at all. Like, it was very noticeably light inside. Like, even this amount of darkness wasn't really a thing. But to say that, like, if you really know how to focus the cameras in, and just, especially when you are in first person with the depth of field and all that, it gets so naturally dark on the dark rides if you design them well, and you make sure that you secure everything. To me, it's worth it to build dark rides again. And that alone, yeah, that just really sold me on wanting to have this game and then getting my hands on building something in it. So being able to realize this concept after probably wanting to do this exact thing since I was a literal child playing Roller Coaster Tycoon 3. I don't know if you guys remember this one, if you were building on that game. To get pitch black rides, you had to essentially use a texture on a wall, and you always have to use mods because the kind of lights you would need for dark rides, they did not normally have in the game. Like, you needed they had this, I don't remember the name of the light mod, but they had this light mod where you could literally individually place light specks almost, and like, it was giving you the ability to do all the stuff we can do now in this game back on that game, and making those dark rides was just as hard back then. So being able to do that, man, that felt rewarding. So we just wrote the Outer Limits, Whiplash 2.0, American Steel. We are on our way to the Grizzley, Treeliner, and Purple Skyline. As you see, walking past, we had the board slide ride. Built it up a little bit to make it seem like it's an old, like this is something old with water. I don't know. I just like the way that the wheels looked as they were rotating, like it was propelling the car in motion, and having the water tower there just fits in with the design. So as we come upon the Grizzley, which I think would probably be best if we honestly ride this one at the evening time, like right there. Before we go there though, we have the arcade. Shout out to the Frontier Workshop again. Somebody has made wonderful arcade packs that have all types of arcade equipment and machines. I placed it the wrong way. Well, hey, so be it. I placed it the wrong way. But obviously none of this is usable or anything like that, and I did not make this walkable either because I did not want to deal with the collision of everybody walking through this. But hey, as a spectator, it is nice to look at, and putting the arcade up here makes it feel nice and homey because arcades and theme parks are always cool. Bumper cars over here, nice tucked off in the woods. Right next to that, we have the parallelogram, which is one of the last flat rides I built. Building this building was fun. Like, having this ride in this building makes so much sense. Just because a little goofy flat ride like this would have a whole building surrounding it just to make it feel like you were breaking through a building. Like, oh, I want to go fly through a building. Like, that's the whole gimmick of the ride. But I digress. We're going to get in the queue and ride the Grizzly. This queue is boring. It is nothing in here. I had no idea what to do for this because the Grizzly, of course, I rode the Beast a lot growing up. One of my favorite rides ever. And wooden roller coasters quickly became one of my favorite phenomenon, and I wanted to make a extremely long but actually enjoyable and exhilarating and fast and well-paced wooden roller coaster. So this ride took me a while to build, but the queue never really came to like fruition because I just couldn't figure out a real theme outside of the Grizzly thing. And they don't have a lot of assets that really fit well with that. And this big bear statue is a beautiful Frontier Workshop creation that somebody so happened to make and take the painstaking time to put together, because I don't know if I would, like, this is just an immense amount of work to do. And to me, all the theming that this ride needs should be that damn bear. I had nothing else outside of that. So, all that being said, we are on the Grizzly. As you see, we walk up, lovely queue, nice lighting. All these queues have windows because the natural lighting in this game is to die for. If you don't put windows inside of your buildings, you will suffer for it. So having to have real windows is cool. Frontier should really work on adding smaller window light pieces and maybe working around that, because the glass panes we have now are cool, but it's a little hard. Eh, there's different ways around it, but I think it would be better if we just had different pieces for windows. That was just me. Of course, I spoiled half the ride. It's okay. We're riding it now. Welcome to the Grizzly. We're going on top of this nice, long, treacherous climb. Entering the last final block section break run, and I get to show you guys some stats. So before we show you the Grizzly stats, I don't think I forgot. Y'all probably yelling at the video again. I remember, I forgot. We're gonna fix that right now. Outer limits, first and foremost, all green stars because this ride is amazing. Last 40 seconds. Let me make sure you guys understand what I'm talking about here. So outer limits. Last 40 seconds, a little over 2,000 feet of track, average speed of 59 miles an hour, max speed of 59 miles an hour, average speed of only 37, biggest drop is 75 feet. But you got 5 inverters in there, buddy. No wear time, all gas, no brakes. But in that thing right there, it looks like a good old spaghetti bowl if I ever seen one. Yes, sir, Bob. That is a certified banger. And then we got the Grizzly. The Grizzly, almost there. It's hard to get excitement levels really high on these longer rides because of the brake runs at the end. But having the green fear levels on something this big, this massive, this long spanning, and then being this close to a green, I'm pretty sure a green would have been. I would have got green if I would have had 6 excitement. That's a pretty good ride. You got 207 feet of sheer drop. This drop is ridiculous. I wanted this first drop to invoke Son of Beast, but done right. You got 3 moments of airtime, which I fought for. I had to re-profile this thing a bunch of times. This double up was hard to design because the biggest problem with the Son of Beast in real life was the turnaround was entirely too intense and it had no let up. And it stretched out the track, and on top of that, it just made it a very rough ride experience. So realistically, something that wide, you gotta have this wide of a berth, but you gotta have it also be going uphill. But to go uphill and maintain speed and get some airtime out of it, that was tricky to figure out. Shout out to my physics brain, aka autocomplete, aka smoothies, and aka this game has a lot of tools to make it a little bit easier for us. So this is by far probably my favorite, like, what's the word, I guess, giga wooden roller coaster that I've built. I built a couple more on Planet Coaster 1, and at some point you guys will see those. This one right here is a culmination of all my efforts. One thing though, Planet Coaster people, hey, I love you guys. I love you designing these things. Wooden roller coasters. Ooh, sorry, I hit my microphone. Okay, let's do this again. Planet Coaster. Oh wow, I just deleted the roller coaster. I am messing up today. Oh wow. Anyway, Planet Coaster people, please listen to me and please listen to me closely because this is very important. This is a very, very, very well adjusted system for the supports that you guys have set up, and most of the rides have more accurate support setups. But the wooden roller coasters, the banks, anything this large, any wooden roller coaster over 200 feet, those first banks, they have to have those the supports in the middle that would extend out here that all of this would be running under. The design of this is great, but there are missing supports right here that bother me. And the only way to add them is painstakingly going through and individually placing wood pieces. That is not fun. And I don't know too many people who do it on console, but it ain't a fun thing to do. I have one wooden roller coaster that I took the time to do custom supports on Plan Code 1, and you guys will see it. It was holy hell. Anyway, as we look at the parallelogram, we are coming through to the other platform, Valley Forest. Across from Valley Forest, we have a little food barn. All the signs show you what's inside of here. Same layout on each side with a little walkway in between. Some places to sit. Another essentially a shelter area if it ever got really bad with the storms. You gotta have as many shelter areas as you can in theme parks. But yeah, Valley Forest Nature Preserve. That is what we call this whole space up here. This whole park is built inside of the Valley Forest, and the Nature Preserve has also a little roller coaster built right in the middle of it. The roller coaster itself, it's called Treeliner. Treeliner is a stand-up roller coaster, which is why this queue is so long. Not only is this ride popular, stand-up roller coaster can only add one train to a track. So this was so much fun to build. Stand-up launching roller coasters is just not a concept I really ever thought about, and then I thought about it for about half a second, like, oh, that has to feel fun. Just standing up on something that is flying, like you literally feel like you're running 1,000 miles per minute. So, that being said, you guys get to experience it right now. Treeliner, coming at you. Live for Planet Coaster 2. And now we enter the final brake run for Treeliner. That thing is tight. Legitimately tight. Like, tight in the Ebonic sense, and tight in the sense that this is literally tight. This corkscrew right here, designing that was fun, but getting the speed right, man, that wasn't a fun one. You can't fly through something like this when you're standing up. You gotta be going at the speed where it feels the most natural, obviously, and like, even looking at it on a game, it looks violent. This turn right here, this curve, it's so... Ooh, you can't see it right there. Okay. This curve is so tight. That S-bend shape, that snaking motion. I don't think, if you're on anything besides a standing roller coaster, I don't think this works. But because you're on a standing roller coaster, you're able to do something that tight and keep this ride as tight and quick and as fun as it is. So, before we show you anything else, let's look at the stats. Come on, let's look at the stats. We got 55 miles an hour, about 3,300 feet in length, max speed of, wait, I said 55 miles an hour. It lasts about 55 seconds. My apologies. It does go about 55 miles an hour indeed. The average speed is 41 miles an hour, give or take. Biggest drop is only 7.2 feet, so you're not going to be worried about the drops on this one. It's all about the speed. You got one inversion, and like I said, it is all about the speed. No moments of airtime. I don't even know. I've never actually ridden a standing roller coaster, so I don't know if you get the same kind of airtime and the standing roller coaster that you would get with a sitting one. Somebody comment that, because I would love to know how that feels for further designs, because the only standing roller coaster that I ever even seen was the King Cobra that used to be at Kings Island, but I never actually rode that, so I don't know. Before we go down to the purple Skyline, which this sign will let you know, we got the purple Skyline and Wave Runner, and then the bottom all over there. Look at this river. So this waterfall, natural spring in my head, right? Comes all the way down from the mountains. Natural spring pops right here. You get this nice flowing little pond river. Also, the water effects now are absolutely amazing since they added swimming. But all of the rushing, roaring water effects, they look so crispy. The way that they layer on top of each other, all the water effects, just top tier this year. Really able to make the water seem more alive. All the water rushes through this tiny little hole here, and it comes out of the other side over here. This is the Wave Runner. It comes all the way out over here, gushes through here, and forms the pond that the Wave Runner sits on. I came up with that like on the fly after I had made this pond and just wanted to add more scenery over here to go with this ride. And to me, this is my favorite like little piece of scenery in it, that I've made in a game. Building this terrain was so tedious. Anybody who's ever done terrain work and playing a coaster knows any kind of elevated terrain like this, you're going to take some time doing terrain modeling. And being able to get this like crevice, like it makes me never want to do another mountain a theme park again. Like I don't want to ever do the thing. I'll stick to my flat ground. Thank you very much. This was very, very, very annoying. But the end result is so much fun. And then having the lights here at nighttime. I mean, look, this is hard to beat, man. Hard to beat. Purple Skyline is the next ride we will be riding. We have another spinny, winny, throw-uppy, full flight. All of the flat rides have signs, of course. And then we have Scissor, which is another flat ride, another spinny doohickey. And then we have, what is this one? Polarity, which is another flat thing that takes you up in the sky, much like this bigger swing over here, just a little smaller. And then we have another restaurant, the Hangar. As you notice, each side, so each corner, boom, boom, and then boom. We all have restaurants. We all have places for people to sit down and eat. This was the last restaurant I built. The Purple Skyline is well, I don't want to say that's necessarily an airline, but it's an airliner that used to exist in this region of the country, and it's all themed around purple and how cool purple looks in the nighttime in the night sky. So all these purple lights in the hangar let you know you're chilling out in a cool spot. Got the nice cool wall put up so you can kind of see in between and poke out and look at the roller coaster if you want to, but it still has that nice separation layer and it fits in right with the hangar of the roller coaster itself. So absolutely love the design on this one. As you can read the line for the cue for the Purple Skyline, you follow the purple light. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna follow these purple cool lights through this nice, what would I say this is? What's the word? Herbaceous? Herbaceous. This nice herbaceous queue, full of foliage galore, and beautiful purple skylines above. See, purple skyline. Yeah, you gotta love it. You gotta love it. I do not know exactly why this ride might not be the most popular. Hold on. Pause. Alright. Before this thing takes out, you guys are on the Purple Skyline. This thing is a monster, and I hope you enjoy. This is a very, very long lift. So as we go up it, as we look to the left, you get to see the nice, beautiful Planet Coaster, river, lake, ocean, whatever this is that they set up over here. It looks really nice. And on top of that, you get to see the nice purple lights that I lined the lift hill with. Here we go. We're coming to the last break run here, and wow, as we were going through this, I just remembered this. This was actually the second to last ride I technically did, because I edited this after I did the Outer Limits. This used to be one of those old Gigas. What were those? I once again don't want to mess up the manufacturer, but the manufacturers of the Millennium Force. That manufacturer, it was one of those styles, and it did not ride smooth. It was not fun, and I was like, you know what? Realistically, this would just be a B&M anyway. At this point, like B&M building all the Gigas in the world, and this would be no exception. So, Purple Skylines. Let's look at the stats. Okay, so I was on the wrong stats completely. So now let's redo this. These are the stats for Purple Skyline. As you can see, all green. We got about a minute and 48 seconds. Look at that math. Look at that math. Look at that math. We got 5,000, about 5,000 feet of track. 5,200 to be exact. 5,300 actually. You have a max speed of 97.5 miles an hour that I did not know about. What record was that? Oh my god. I didn't know that. But you know, it probably goes 97 miles an hour somewhere along the line of that 307 foot drop. But as fast as it does initially go, we only have an average speed of 33 miles an hour. So that would honestly be insane to drop down something that sheer and that high and that fast. Right here we have a brake trim that is actually famous in B&M. They do a lot of these upward brake trims before you get to these airtime hills to slow down these tracks. I mean, to slow down the trains. Okay, that was random. But anyway, these kind of brakes are specifically to slow them down so you can still get airtime over the hill. And before we even get to the airtime, like, it was very tedious to design all of these. Like, all of these had to have these brakes because this thing had to slow all the way down because it was coming through this turn entirely too fast. So figuring out that like concept was pretty fun because I needed the ride to keep this. You see this thin profile. B&Ms are notoriously thin profile, and I have for years built B&M style rides completely wrong on these games, and I wanted to change that. So they'll have, if they have to get back to like if the coaster's set up like this, for example, they had to get back to the brake run, they'll do turnaround and different cool things, but the initial run will always be hill drop, going to another hill, possibly another hill after that, some kind of turn, whether it's a helix or it's an overbank, but something that's nice and tight that gets a right back side by side in line with the other side of the track. So doing that was really fun, and if you ever build a B&M on this game and you never try to build a roller coaster realistically, I would give you the challenge of making it as thin profile as you could and seeing if what you get out of that. That being said, we gotta get to the airtime. 6 total airtime moments. This thing is intense, but it is worth it to me, man. 5 total seconds of airtime on this big behemoth is nothing to play with. I honestly don't understand why this game's programming has the customers so afraid to ride perfectly rated rides, especially when I turn off the effects of like nausea and all that. I'd really like them to looking at, because you know the nausea thing isn't necessarily realistic anyway. To be totally honest with you, I worked in the theme park. Not that many people throw up from roller coasters. When it happens, it's generally just go to the nurse and you probably want to leave the park kind of thing. But it's usually because you're dehydrated. It's not necessarily because of the roller coaster. Because roller coasters have such strict standards in the U.S. The G-forces, like, they're pretty strict. You can, the speed is one thing, but the G-forces can only be exceeded so much, and this game follows those rules. So I don't really understand why the simulated people are so afraid. And then what will happen that, oops, sorry, hit my mic again. But what will happen that is actually annoying is that the peeps, or whatever they call them, they will sit here in this animation forever. It causes log jams. Like, I guarantee you, I'm gonna go down to the Cub real quick. I'm not gonna ride the Cub, but I almost guarantee you I can tell you where a log jam is gonna be at. Okay, thank you guys. It's not here today. Is it open? Okay, so right here, this toilet. Why is the toilet 90 cents? Alright, let's change that first off. That just, it's crazy. Anyway, this toilet for whatever reason would cause this log jam where people would just be stacked on top of each other, and it would be because they got stuck in that weird fatigue animation, and it's happened to me on all of my parts at this point. It's been very consistently a glitch, and I would love for that one to be fixed, because this crap is very annoying, and them not being in this queue is really idiotic. I'm sorry, but this in real life would be one of the best rides in the world, and on Planet Coaster 2, it doesn't get rid of it. I cannot stand that. Over here, we have one of the big swings, of course. And then, okay, yeah, I did call it Wave Runner. Alright, alright. Alright, this is the last new ride, technically, that I built in the park. This is the last concept I came up with, for sure. This is the Wave Runner. Now, before I built this was just all empty, and it was just this pond over here, and it just kind of outlooked that ride. But I was like, huh, all that free space, that has to be a roller coaster. I have to make this out of something. So, to me, this is a culmination of me really getting comfortable with the mechanics of this game. This queue, the design of the station, all of it is a culmination of me being way more comfortable with what I was doing. You have these grates where you can see through, and you can see the water during the daytime. Should not be riding this at night. Might not remember that. So you can see all the water and all that through here, through the grates. This is all designed to where it's all housed under the same roof, the exit, the entrance, it all running alongside this perfect. It's just laid out perfectly. Queue's the perfect size. The way that this game works, it takes a while for the roller coasters to gain popularity. So this is one of those rides where I know when it gets to its final level of progression of aging, it'll be one of the more popular rides in the park, just because it's a kids roller coaster, it's a family style sim launch, it is fun as hell. So you guys get to have the joy of riding one of my favorite rides I've ever built, Wave Runner. Here we go. And we're coming into the final brake run. See how smooth and fast and whippy that is. Perfect first roller coaster for a kid who's in the roller coasters, right? Low, fast, first real launch roller coaster. Really get the thrill. Very, 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 very fun to me. Design's fun, the bucket seats, all of it, the tight head cutters, all of it is so much fun. And I made sure I kept this design similar, like I said, with all my other roller coasters, keeping the profile realistic, these low to the ground roller coasters, You can make those a little bit more wide and wild. But at the end of the day, keeping everything contained to its own space and making sure that it all fits and functionates amongst each other, that was my goal when building this part, and I like to think I accomplished that goal. All of this flows. This looks like some old logging unit that just got converted into a roller coaster station, you know. So let's go to the stats. Almost all green, very close. A little scary for some, but I think we did all right. Only lasts 37 seconds, so it's quick and fast. You're in and out there in a hurry. Only 1900 for the track, I'd say. 50 miles an hour max speed, averaging of 35. Biggest drop's only 19 feet. Only 1 moment of airtime. Much like the American Steel ride, both of my kid style rides had 1 moment of airtime, and I feel like that's what it should be. So, real simple, real easy, nothing special, but also it's everything about it is special. So, man, we are on to the last roller coaster, and we're gonna ride the train and get up out of here. I feel like I have really been inside of this park so much, man. Right now we're walking through the side walkway, and once again, this is inspired by Dollywood. So for those who've ever been, when you walk through Dollywood first time, it's kind of like stuff is hidden. And if you enter through the front of the entrance and you go left, you could get to the, what was it? Thunderhead, if I'm not mistaken, is the name of the wooden roller coaster down there. And it felt like it was hidden. And I was inspired by that to make this little smaller walking platform be the connecting platform to the main hub area. So the rest of this park has normal, like, same width pathways and then wider plaza ways, which, shout out to the passing system. I haven't even gotten into how much better the passing system is, and a bit like, you guys who play Planet Coaster 1 understand this, and who only seen Planet Coaster 1 videos might think this is like a modded game or something like that because of how different the paths work. It is so much more just well thought out. You can draw your paths, you can connect them, change the seamlessly change the style of paths and the looks and the colors and so many things, and automatically adding rails works so much better. You can edit where you put the rails at, you can easily take them away, and it's made it so individually placing rails, like, if you can still do it if you really want to. For like, great example, you still have fences. I still place these fences myself, but do you see how these blend into that? And then its path is still that same path, but it doesn't have these rails. That wasn't possible before. So being able to do that, man, that is a complete game changer for me, and I really appreciate this game. And this is a little tunnel walkway that takes you underneath the terrain that I designed, that I honestly like. This is probably one of the last things I designed too. I just love the way that it came out. You go right by the train, get a nice view of the hills that surround you and what you're going to, kind of terrain you're going to be getting into going into the park. But coming out of the park, it's like you walk through to this big open space for the last time, and that's really what I wanted. So this is the main, like, lower food area. When you first walk in, you want to get something to eat, you want to maybe sit down a little bit, get a little bit of shade, just enough, not a lot. At first this was going to be fully covered, but after looking at the design of it fully covered, I was like, you know, that is a little goofy. So having the exposure right there and having a little lip, I feel like was the best way to go about it, and it looks really nice. And as you can see right here, by the security guard, this is the employees only section I was telling you about. Nothing special, nothing crazy. I had no tables in here. I did not feel like it. I ultimately decided against, like, getting that deep into it, because after I realized I was even going to have these guys, like, coming back here, it to me was pointless, honestly. It didn't make too big of a difference. But if you've been to a theme park area, or you worked at a theme park, generally speaking, at the front of the entrance, they will, like, have some kind of employee something, whether it's the offices or something like that. And for me, that's what this would be equivalent to. Like, these are where their offices are. This is where the corporate people might come out and spend their day, you know? But other than that, we saved the best for last. This, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see right here by this cute little thing right here, that if I go in the first person, Wow, I'm pressing all the wrong buttons today. It is also an animatronic. Shout out to the Frontier Workshop, homie who designed this, did a wonderful job, man. This is called the Cub. The Cub is the mini version, not even a version, it's just the little brother to the Grizzly. Alright, it's the little child of the Grizzly. But it is one of my favorite rides that I've ever designed, just because it is small, fast, but fun, and I would consider this to be a family winning roller coaster. Nothing too intense, but it is entirely fun for everybody. It's along the lines of a Mystic Timbers, if you have ever heard of a Mystic Timbers. Pretty sure they have different versions of Mystic Timbers. They also have Twisted Timbers, but I don't think Twisted Timbers is fully well. I'm pretty sure that's an RMC joint. So anything like that though, if you guys want to go look up a POV of Mystic Timbers real quick, small little wooden roller coaster that is really fast, quick, zippy, but it's a lot of fun, quick airtime. And most modern wooden roller coasters that are getting built, like newly built, that's what their design philosophy is, and it's something I can really get behind. Smaller builds, things that are actually about the speed and the airtime, less than just breaking records. So the Cub is the amalgamation of all that. The Grizzly is amalgamation of breaking the records and being the biggest, baddest thing on the planet. This ain't trying to be the biggest, the baddest, it's just trying to be the best. Just like his daddy. So that being said, it's time to get on the Cub and call it a day on the roller coasters. It has been a long one here in Woods Pike. We are on the Grizzly, we are not on the Grizzly, we are on the Grizzly Sun. We are on the Cub. Here we go. And we enter the last break run of the day. Let's go. Clap it up, clap it up. That was fun. That was fun. This was the last of the roller coasters that I touched up. All these roller coasters got different stories, man. This is why this game is fun for me. This story here is that this is all already built, and I really hadn't touched the layout of this ever. The layout of this to me was perfect when I designed it. The way I design roller coasters on this game, to give you guys the overview, I can generally memorize most stuff in my head, but sometimes I literally write out a rough sketch of a literally line layout of what I want the roller coaster to look like from the side perspective and then the top perspective. And that's generally what I would like do if I get stuck. But with this one, it was like really easy. I just wanted to do a turnaround. I wanted to have a quick turnaround section right here where we got to get back in line with the station, and then I wanted to have airtime hills to finish out the track like that, and I wanted to have a small little tunnel. I literally visualized this and did it like it was nothing. So when you do that, it's always a little bit of fear because like, could I have done more? But to me, for a family style wooden roller coaster that's supposed to be fast paced, that gets you in and out, this is exactly what I'm talking about. So let's look at the stats. Almost all green there. Almost. We almost there. We got a duration of 1 minute and 6 seconds. Track is about 2,700 feet long. Max speed of 50 miles per hour. Average speed of 28. Biggest drop is only 76 feet. So nothing too intimidating there at all. 3 full moments of airtime with a second and change. And yeah, for the last coaster, man, for the first coaster that you would probably ride for most people when they would walk into a place like this that is what it's supposed to be. That's an opening roller coaster that gets you enticed to ride the rest of this. The signage from the outside makes you want to ride it in the first place because you want to ride the one with the big wood spike sign in the middle of it. And you know, that's how theme parks are supposed to be, man. And this is what this game has really brought for me and a lot of other people. And being able to share with you guys these theme park creations I make, it's like sharing a piece of my brain. When I was a little kid, I literally wanted to own a theme park. So, as we see, we got a sign for what's on the upper level. We're gonna wait for this train to get into this station. I'm gonna go in the first person. So. Alright. So, in first person, going through the queue, waiting for the good old train. I'm pretty sure I have 4 trains on this track. So, should never have to wait too long. Why did it not let me get on? There we go. So, especially, I think, yep, this is probably the best one. Okay, so we are riding a train to end out the video, guys. It has been a very fun time recording this. It'll be even more fun time editing it and uploading it to YouTube and seeing those first initial reactions on my first video. I plan on, like I said, I have so much I can show you guys. I've almost completed another, well, technically speaking, it's actually the first park I started, but I wanted to finish it after I learned more of the mechanics of the game because I took a lot more time on the queue, the layout of it, and I just wanted to make sure I got everything down right, you know. I wanted to make sure that I really got the mechanics down right, because taking the amount of time I did on the passing of that and some of those queues. Now some of it's a little janky, you could tell it's like first build jitters kind of thing, but I edited track layouts recently and I've really got into my bag. So I plan on building some cool stuff in this game. So before I show my next build, I think that it is imperative that we start with my foundation. So I want to go back to Planet Coaster 1 because there are 4 or 5, I can't remember if it's 5 or 6 parks that are all in a collection of each other that I've uploaded a couple of clips already of certain rides from those parks, but I've completely refined all of those before I got on this game. And I have, just to lay it out, I have a space themed part that's completely themed around being in outer space on a space hub that is fully immersed. I have a Magic Kingdom, not a ripoff, but inspired park where I built a custom castle with a roller coaster inside of said custom castle. And you guys, I'm sure you would love to see that one. Smooth, and all the roller coasters are like butter. I have a destination park. Well, I guess you could call it a destination park. I don't know if I did put a hotel. So, destination park, where it's like these really large bohemian sized monstrosities with big signage and cool themings. And there's one ride where there's a whole entire volcano that houses a roller coaster. So, there's that one. I have a USA theme park. I have so I just have the USA theme park, and then I have, there's a couple more. USA theme park, a Coney inspired theme park, and then the last one is a resort, I guess, almost style theme park. And wow, I have 7. And then there's the last one, the last one that I completely forgot that I did on that game, Dusty Den, the desert theme park. So I have Desert Western, I should say, Desert Pirate Western. So I have 7 parks on Planet Coaster 1 that have never actually been explored or seen. And I think that those will be worth it while this game is still adding on stuff, because from what I understand, they want to add completely in all the assets from the last game to this game. But the issue, probably from a developer standpoint, is making it all actually work within the systems that this game operates in, because I can definitely tell you they are built on the same mechanics, but they're not the same at all. So I'm sure the assets have to get retextured and remodeled, and also so that they can be scalable. So they added in all the sci-fi stuff again. So that alone gave me confidence that this game will be exactly where it needs to be. We just got to give it a little bit of grace, give it a little bit of time to get exactly where we want it to be as fans. So for that time being, in the background, I'll finish up the park I'm working on now, probably start another one. But you guys will be getting videos. I'll try to film a new park every week for the next month and a half, and then end that out with the newest Planet Culture 2 park. But this had to be the first one, because this was the first park I made on this game that made me feel complete, like I did what I wanted to do, like I accomplished my goals. And shout out to Frontier for making a game where you're able to fully access the free parts of your brain. So you guys follow that sign right there, and I am going to check out and go get the throat lunge or something like that, because my allergies been killing me. I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.